name is Dwayne Kiner. I'm going to talk to you about how to deal with picky eaters. So maybe you have experienced children who won't eat certain foods. I have a 1-year-old son, and he's not quite 2 yet, but he just refuses to eat some foods. So I'm going to explain how to deal with that. So the best thing to do is put food in front of them with the spoon and wait for them to eat it, and then see if they want some more before you fill up the whole plate. And it's important you don't force them to eat the food. That's could be dangerous, but you could make it a challenge to help them pay attention. You don't want to yell at them, but you also don't want to talk to them so much that they end up ignoring the food. Also, you can try different kinds of foods for lunch and dinner, and then that will help you decide, how often they should eat, and that will help them be a little hungrier. And you can also say, hey, dinner's gonna be soon. If they really refuse to eat it, you can try other foods like apples or strawberries, something to replace those foods. There's a few things that are easier to help them before you sit down to eat. If they're playing like crazy and then they just come in and sit down trying to eat, maybe they're exhausted or tired afterwards. So maybe helping them calm down a little bit before they sit down to eat is a good idea. You can also set up a routine, and that will help. You can do toys or books or things, but let them know that it's time to put those away and to come and eat, and that way it's not distracting. And it's important if you're having a family dinner that you can all sit together. So go ahead and teach them manners, and even if you finish eating, we're not done yet, so they can stay until they all finished, and that way they can learn those manners, and you don't have other children that are getting away from the table and feeling that that's not fair. So some other creative ways that you can try to encourage them to eat. You can try to make up creative names or signs to go with foods, like apples. You can make it more interesting by adding a different name, or like bananas, you can cut them up and so they look like wheels. So getting creative with what you call the food. Like broccoli could be trees. French fries could be swords. So that way they can play with the food but also eat the food too. So eggs could be like a boat. You could put things in it, like a hard-boiled egg. But really, if they sit down and they just refuse to eat, you can also do cheese. And cut it into sticks. Maybe dipping sauces, they might like that better. Maybe you could even try butter on things, see if they like that. Another way to get them to try different foods, there's an example of like fruits and vegetables and milk, different things, and you can put it in there and make a smoothie and see if they'll drink it. So that's a good way to encourage them to get those vitamins too. You can also do a sandwich, and maybe if they refuse to eat it, then you can cut it in half or take off the crust and cut it into different shapes, like bears or cats or different stamps that you can put on the sandwich bread. And then maybe that will encourage them to eat it, help make it fun. Also, you can give them like a plate tray that has pictures on it, and they know that that's theirs, and then they can pick it up and have it, and that's something creative that they can play with too. Also, it's good if you share food and maybe eat some of their food and then try and feed them some of the food. Some other ways is you can have some older children or friends come over and sit down and have them eat the food, and then they can follow their example. Or you can even have like a special shelf or an area that's their foods, and so they can pick something for themselves of what they want. That way they can have options and pick for themselves. Maybe sometimes they don't like the high chair, so maybe you can get like a small chair that goes at the table, and maybe they'll like that better. You know, it's important, that they need the calories and nutrition. And so here's some examples of things. Butter, brown sugar, potatoes, cheese, chicken, eggs, fish. Fish are good with potatoes. So there's those 5 different categories of different types of foods that they need to be eating out of. Also, it's important for you as a parent to not get frustrated and just give them whatever. Sometimes that's an okay thing to do too. Just don't let the frustration build, because that makes it harder and harder to feed them, and then the problem just becomes worse. Hopefully we can help our kids make healthy choices now, and that will help you too. So good luck.